Hello, everybody. Hello. So, today we are going to be discussing business. Let's talk business. I'm going to bring up a slide that we're going to go over, but it is important that we diversify our revenue. We need to have multiple streams of revenue. And to this end, I'm going to share a couple of ventures or things that I know about, some that I actually have my hands in, and just to get the ideas sparking for those who don't know other or additional methods of business. So, social media for business is phenomenal, online, phenomenal. But you don't want to just rely on your social media. You don't want to just rely on online businesses. And so I have a couple of ideas that I would like to share with you. Some of these are, as I stated before, ventures that I have delved in. But let's talk business. All right. So again, social media is subjective, right? I don't like to be controlled. I like to have my liberty to say what it is that I want to say, be who it is that the Most High created me to be without the restrictions that are being imposed upon people in various places. And so, to this end, this is why I like additional um, methods to accrue finances, to accrue wealth. I do like utilizing social media platforms, things of that nature. But again, it's subjective. It is subjective to the people that own it, the people that restrict you. So again, if you violate any guidelines, your account can be restricted. If your business is social media based, if it's primarily on social media, you can lose a lot of revenue if you are restricted. But then the adverse of that is if you're not restricted, then you typically have to conform. I don't conform. I don't like to conform. I say what I think, and I just know that's me. And so, to that end, it's really good to have additional outside income. Also, additional ways for the people that love you, follow you, like you, to be able to find you. Um, you should always have multiple streams of income. And today we're going to discuss two ways to develop additional streams of income in the current market. Now, one of the ways is more of a long term way to develop that. Um, I know as it pertains to Aboriginal Hebrew, African American, or Black people, um, unless you have been predisposed to generational wealth, um, which is not typical, which has not been typical for our people because we built the country, but we didn't receive revenue from it. But it is necessary to learn additional ways of how to access finances and how to manipulate legally the financial sector. So, I'm going to discuss one of those ways as long term, and then I'll discuss a more immediate option. And this is really just to get your wheels turning because there's so many markets, so many ways that you can dive in and become a part of the recipient of this revenue and build generational wealth. So you don't have to utilize the ways that I say today, but let these things be a springboard. Let this be a place of start to where, again, you identify different types of areas that are still thriving in this market where you can generate positive return on your investment. You can generate good flow. good revenue. So, one of the things that I want to bring to you and present to you is to be a broker. And I do have a brokerage and a logistics company. And so, I just want to share a little bit of information about that because uh, the methodology of being a broker is pretty simplified. It can be complex if you don't understand it, if you don't know it, but once you understand it, it's pretty simple. And so, the type of broker that I'm speaking of in for this video is a freight broker. So there are 32.5 million businesses in the US. See, at this point in time, if you are a businessman, a businesswoman, you should be thinking 32.5 million businesses. How can I create something to where I can get some of that revenue? What type of businesses are these, and what type of needs can I meet to these businesses? So, just thinking more so industry wise and starting to think about how you can play a major role, a major part in diverse industries. Well, freight brokering is one example, right? So again, let me just expound some more information for you to know. Manufacturing is still one of the top five employers. So currently, things are in the US, even though after NAFTA, there was a lot of manufacturing that was carried overseas, but still currently today, manufacturing is still one of the top five employers in the US. And the value of shipments went up to 91%. This is a $6 trillion industry. So, why am I talking to you? Because I know most of or many of our people are looking at quick means, quick ways to make money, and it's typically those things that we grew up seeing, right? But a lot of our people didn't grow up seeing or learning about freight brokers. Some have, but a lot didn't. So the value of shipments went up to 91%. That is a $6 trillion industry. You should be saying, what can I do to access this $6 trillion? What is it that I can do? What is it that I can do to create to get in on this revenue? All right. So the freight broker, okay, so let me just explain for those who don't know, and I got bullets in my hand, but let me just try to make the cat get away from my stuff. Okay. The freight broker pairs the shipping company with a carrier or a truck for delivery. So you have your freight, your merchandise, your whatever it is in the industry. So listen, a freight broker can span so far. People need to get the goods to the place where it's supposed to go. You freight. You could be brokering for a company that needs to get hazmat materials from one location to the other. You can be brokering for a company that needs to get dairy from one location to the other. It's expansive. Fuels, clothing, food. It's so many different industries that need to get their goods to a diverse location than from the shipper. So the freight broker pairs the shipping company with the carrier or the truck. The carrier is just another term for the truck that's delivering the goods. Um, and again, another reason why this is a very good industry to tap into is because products must always move. You think about a timestamp on, let's just use dairy as an example. The dairy has to go from this location to this location by a certain time frame. If it is late, um, If it doesn't meet the deadline, it may expire, or the vendor who it is being shipped to may reject it, and that is a loss of revenue. And so, therefore, products must always move, and the broker is the middleman to make sure that the products move. So, freight broker companies, um, once established, can make a couple of $100,000 per month. So you think about those numbers. I will speak and just say a couple of $100,000 per month is a very what's the word to use? I'll just stick with this. Freight broker companies, once established, can make a couple of $100,000 per month. Shippers always need transporters, even if the shipper has a current carrier. Certain things happen. So the shipper could have a trucking company that they use always, but what happens? Trucks break down, there's issues, truck drivers may have an issue. There's always something that can occur. Natural disasters can cause a person to be delayed. And so what happens is, as a broker, you could, if you don't have the contract with the shipper, then you could actually make revenue by just the individual loads. So when a shipper, when their contracted company is unable to meet the obligation, you as the broker can meet that load. You can pick up that load and you get a percentage of the revenue from the cost of that. You're just a middleman. You literally have a computer, a phone, some documents, certain type of software that you utilize, and that's all you need, and you can make this revenue. So you have the driver driving, you have the shipper shipping, and you're the middleman pairing them together and getting a percentage of the cost. Another way that a broker receives revenue is by setting up contracts with shippers. So the individual loads, you get a percentage for that. But if you set up a contract with a shipper, for every single load that is carried, you receive a percentage from those loads. So that's going to be a continuous revenue as long as that contract is standing. Now you can see how this can generate a good revenue source, because again, the product must always move. If you would like to become a licensed freight broker and would like to take a class on how to set up your brokerage firm and how to get licensed, you can email me. My email is childlifeessentials@gmail.com. Again, that's childlifeessentials@gmail.com. Now, the additional way that I wanted to speak with you, this is more long term. Um, the additional way that I want to speak to you about is being your own bank. And this is just generating generational wealth, family wealth. And so it's a long term option for creating wealth. You obtain your financing from your own bank that you control, right? So, um, this will allow your cash on hand to be utilized as an investment as opposed to you utilizing it outright. So a lot of times people may go outright and purchase their items. Instead, you can finance from your own bank, from your own resource. Um, this ideology actually came about by an economist named Nelson Nash, and he gives one way that you can establish your own bank. And that way is basically to utilize your whole life insurance policy. So you take out a dividend paying whole life insurance policy and utilize that. So typically, in order for that to mature, for you to be able to borrow against your policy that you paid in, it's going to take about 10 years, right? But you are borrowing against your own money. So let me say that again. So your bank is literally your whole life insurance policy. Okay? And you pay into your whole life insurance policy for approximately 7 to 10 years, and then you're able to borrow from your own bank, your own revenue that you paid into your policy. Now, there are some benefits of this. Some people will say, oh, if I borrow and something happened to me, would my people still get paid? Your people would still get paid. The policy will still pay out the amount it's supposed to pay out. So there are ways to calibrate these policies, and thus this can make them excellent tools for cash flow management. All right, but you have to have a whole life policy and the right whole life policy. These are also good places to house or warehouse your wealth. It's not being taxed. Okay, so this is a good place to house your wealth and then borrow against your wealth, and then pass that wealth on to your generations and to your family and teach them the concept also. This is a concept that millionaires do. And if you are serious about increasing your revenue, then you want to begin to do what those who have learned the game. They know. You want to start doing what they do so that you can multiply your wealth also. So, with your own bank through these whole life insurance policies, as time progresses and you put your savings into a properly designed whole life insurance policy, the cash value grows, right? And then when you need it, again, if you want to purchase a home, you want to purchase a vehicle, you want to purchase a big ticket item, you can take out a loan against that policy. Let's talk about it. Your cash value that you've already paid into it is your collateral. So your interest rate is going to be low. There is no credit check, no questions about the use of the funds. It's your own money that you're borrowing out. Um, there's no payback schedule, and the insurance company guarantees the asset because, again, it's your own money. It is your own bank. Now, don't just run out and buy a whole life insurance policy and try to do this without being educated more and finding out the best type of whole life insurance policies, the ones that will you can ensure that the rate and the financing, the ratio, the money is correct. So understand the concept, then do your research. What is best for you and the timelines for you, and then the dividends that you can actually draw off of it. Couple of scriptures because I'm a child of the Most High, and we talking about that bread in Deuteronomy 8:18. But remember that it is the Most High. I'm always going to say the Most High because the Lord represents Baal, and that's a false God. I'm just throwing that in there, and so that's me. But remember that the Most High, your God, who gives you the remember that it is the Most High, your God, who gives you the power to gain wealth in order to confirm his covenant that he swore to your fathers even to this day. So he gives you power to get wealth. He gives you power to be promoted. And this is a confirmation of the covenant between us. Actually, I was reading one day, and I was just back in Genesis, and I was reading about how Cain was cursed, and how the ground he was not able to receive his way. The ground was cursed for Cain. Before Cain, that ground became cursed, meaning he was not going to be able to yield the same thing that other people would yield because of the curse that was upon him. Now, there's a promise nobody would be able to kill him. If they did it to him, then the curse that was on him would be on them. But the ground was cursed. His revenue was cursed because he killed his brother. See, a lot of times people don't, I have to throw that in here. A lot of times people are killing their people and then they're wondering why they are impoverished. You kill your own, you kill Abel because you're jealous. You kill Abel, you come after Abel because of the jealousy that's in your heart. And this is why the ground is harsh before you and it won't bring forth. And so let's not kill anybody, our brethren. Let's not intentionally. And when I say kill, like physically, I'm from Chicago, so people were spraying that killing on a regular basis. They was killing their brother and they wonder why they're impoverished. This is scripture. Okay. But also in ways that people will set out when it comes to business. You got some sharks, you got some snakes in business, and they will try to kill you. They will try to exploit you. So even in that sense, and then the ground will be cursed before them. And so I do have a couple of things that I like to tell people. I like for you all to know and take this and put this in your arsenal. Okay. If you deal with someone in business and you teach them, I say this: if I taught you a game and you think you're going to do me, remember I own the game. I taught it. And so that's the same way. If you set yourself out and you go forth to be excellent in what you do, and also you liberally show people, teach them, help them. But if in turn, if people try to dupe you because of the good that you put out, sometimes people look at your good as it being naivety. Recall this and remember what I told you. If I taught you the game and you think you're going to dupe me, remember I own the game. I own it. I taught it. So it does not matter how much of a dove I am. I also have the wisdom of a serpent. All right. So y'all take that and use that as it pertains to business as well. Be harmless in business until you don't have to be. Be harmless in business until you don't have to be. And that's a principle that I tell everybody I engage with. I tell people, I give you the rope. Now let's see what you're going to do with it. I give you the rope. Now let's see. Are you going to hang yourself with it? Are you going to multiply and create something out of it? Are you going to jump with? What are you going to do with the rope that I give you? And I have to teach these lessons because unfortunately we are a divided people that are still being restored and healed in unity. So therefore in business sometimes you have people trying to eat each other instead of eating what is external. And we all eat. Okay, moving on. Another scripture: seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. And I just take that to be, if you are diligent in handling your business, you will not be subject to anybody mistreating you. You'll be able to move as you should. And your business will speak for itself, and people will handle you in a respectable manner, and you will demand nothing less. Another scripture: for promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. We know that promotion comes from the Most High. Right? So just think about that. And we just read that in the first scripture. Promotion doesn't come from the east, nor the west, nor the south, but it does come from the Most High. Another scripture: a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. It takes wisdom, but a good man leaves an inheritance for his. Your grandchildren will eat if you do diligent things today, if you move in diligence today. The Most High is a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him. And lastly, I guess I want to talk about exploitation. So when you're dealing in business, a lot of times people exploit each other. Well, the scripture lets us know that you shall do exploits. We shall do exploits. So as opposed to us being exploited, we shall do exploits. So the scripture lets us know that we shall do exploits. And as opposed to us being exploited, we shall be the ones doing the exploits. So we move in superiority of the power and the spirit and the knowledge and the wisdom and the direction of the Most High and the excellence. When you think about you think about Daniel. Daniel had an excellent spirit that came from the Most High. So he was the top at whatever it is that he did. Additionally, I would also like to tell you that um, if someone exploits you in business, it's because you allowed it. It's the same way I think tactically. If someone attacks you, mm, when you lack knowledge, you lack skill. When you lack that, then you are an easy target, right? People perish for a lack of knowledge. And so in business, if someone exploits you or takes advantage of you, it is because you allowed it. So in business, if someone exploited you or took advantage of you, it is because you allowed it. There is no excuses for failure. There are no excuses for failure. And so we'll be talking more about business, and I would like for you to comment of different industries that are not usual for the Aboriginal, African American, Black people, Hebrew people, but businesses that can generate extreme amounts of wealth. Also, comment about how we need to unify and just whatever it is you think about the video. And again, if you would like to find out more resources, take some of the classes regarding the freight brokerage, just send me an email and I'll give you the info for that. All right, peace. Until next time.